So tonight, Mr. Chairman, I stand here humbled, and I'm overwhelmed with gratitude to say I officially accept your nomination to be Vice President of the United States of America.
JD Vance, once a fierce critic within conservative circles, has recently emerged as a pivotal figure in American politics, making headlines as Trump's running mate. His journey from a childhood in the Rust Belt to the heights of Silicon Valley, and finally to the political arena, underscores a blend of experience that captivates both the heartland and the elite. Vance's path is not just a personal triumph, but also a reflection of the shifts within the Republican Party. In this episode, we'll examine J.D. Vance's rise to prominence, tracing his trajectory from an Ohio senator to a national political figure and scrutinizing the dynamics of his relationship with Trump to being his eventual campaign partner. I'm Khadija Monroe, and you're watching Global Reference News Inside America. If this is your first time, please click the subscribe button as we begin.
And he keeps on coming through it. He keeps on persevering. He keeps on fighting. President
J.D.
Trump
Vance's journey to national prominence is marked by his compelling life story and intellectual pursuits, which he vividly captured in his best-selling memoir, Hillbilly Elegy. The book not only garnered critical acclaim, but also resonated with a wide audience, providing insights into the Appalachian values and the socioeconomic challenges of the Rust Belt. This narrative thrust him into the national spotlight, making him a significant voice in discussions about American culture and socioeconomic issues. Hillbilly Elegy became a cultural phenomenon, influencing the national conversation about poverty, education, and the American dream. Vance's portrayal of his upbringing and the adversities he faced shed light on the often overlooked segments of American society. The book's success opened doors for Vance, leading to a 2020 Netflix adaptation of the book to film, as well as numerous speaking engagements and a role as a commentator on major national media platforms. His insights have been particularly valued in the context of understanding the political shifts within the United States, especially in regions that were pivotal during the elections. Before his literary success, Vance's formative years included service in the U.S. Marine Corps, which provided him with critical life skills and a distinct perspective on leadership and responsibility. Following his military service, he pursued higher education at Ohio State University and later at Yale Law School. His experiences at Yale further shaped his views and professional trajectory, exposing him to a network of influential thinkers and opportunities in law and finance. These experiences were instrumental in developing his analytical skills and deepening his understanding of American socioeconomic landscapes, which he later articulated in his writings and public engagements.
So for starters, there was a very real sense of hopelessness in the community that I grew up in. There was a sense that kids had that their choices didn't matter. No matter what happened, no matter how hard they worked, no matter how hard they tried to get ahead, nothing good would happen. So that's a tough feeling to grow up around. That's a tough mindset to penetrate. And it leads sometimes to very conspiratorial places. So let's just take one political issue that's pretty hot, affirmative action. So depending on your politics, you might think that affirmative action is either a wise or an unwise way to promote diversity in the workplace or the classroom. But if you grow up in an area like this, you see affirmative action as a tool to hold people like you back. That's especially true if you're a member of the white working class. You see it as something that isn't just about good or bad policy. You see it as something that's actively conspiring, where people with political and financial power are working against you. And there are a lot of ways that you see that conspiracy against you, perceived, real, but it's there, and it warps expectations. Donald Trump doesn't necessarily have a good message either. That's maybe not the best approach to politics. It's not how you win these folks over. And if you're worried about them being racist now, when you push them away and push them to somebody like Trump, you're only going to make the problem worse.
J.D. Vance's relationship with Donald Trump started on rocky grounds, with Vance being an outspoken critic of Trump during the 2016 election cycle. His public denouncements included harsh comments on national platforms where he labeled Trump as noxious and likened him to cultural heroin and misleading the white working class. Despite these initial criticisms, the dynamics began to shift as Vance's influence grew within the Republican Party. Trump, recognizing Vance's appeal and potential utility, displayed a willingness to overlook past remarks. This turnaround was marked by a significant meeting arranged by Peter Thiel at Mar-a-Lago, where Trump, despite being aware of Vance's previous disapproval, greeted him with a knowing smile, signaling a new phase in their relationship. The personal chemistry between Vance and Trump developed through a series of strategic interactions, which included endorsements and public reconciliations. Trump's son, Donald Trump Jr. expressed a keen interest in Vance, influenced by his memoir Hillbilly Elegy, which he found compelling despite Vance's earlier criticisms of his father. This burgeoning relationship was further solidified through mutual contacts and influential endorsements, including a crucial nod from Tucker Carlson, who was persuaded by Vance to advocate on his behalf to Trump. The endorsement from Trump, stating that Vance gets it now, encapsulated the transformation of their relationship from estrangement to alignment. This bond is not only a testament to political pragmatism, but also highlights a shared understanding and mutual recognition of each other's influence and capabilities within the GOP and beyond. The vetting process for JD Vance as Trump's vice presidential pick was an intricate and strategic endeavor, reflecting the complexity of political alignments and personal dynamics within the Republican Party. Initially, Trump and his team considered a broad list of nearly 24 potential candidates, including prominent figures like Senators Marco Rubio and Doug Burgum. Over the course of 6 weeks, the list was narrowed down, focusing increasingly on Vance, whose alignment with Trump's vision and base became increasingly apparent. Rubio and Burgum presented strong cases. Rubio, however, faced a significant hurdle due to residency issues that could complicate the Electoral College dynamics, a concern that was discussed extensively with Trump. Burgum, while less known nationally, was seen as a safe choice but lacked the tested charisma on the national stage that Trump valued. Despite these considerations, both were seen as viable until the final stages of the selection process. Trump's approach to selecting his running mate resembled his well-known flair for drama and suspense, akin to a high-stakes game show. He engaged in regular discussions with donors, allies, and political figures, weighing the insights and opinions on the potential picks. The decision was influenced by a variety of factors, including the candidates' political alignment with Trump's agenda, their public appeal, and their ability to secure critical swing states in the Midwest. In the end, Vance's unique blend of conservative populism and his strong personal rapport with Trump, reinforced by their frequent communications and shared vision, positioned him as the top choice. Despite some opposition from major Republican donors and strategists who favored other candidates, Trump's preference for Vance's ideological stance and electoral strategy in key states became decisive. The final selection was a testament to Vance's rising influence and the strategic calculations that play out behind the scenes in political campaigns.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thanks to Chair Powell for being here. I appreciate you coming by our office last week to discuss some of these issues. I would ask something I imagine most of my colleagues are not asking, which is the relationship between immigration, particularly extremely high illegal immigration levels under the Biden administration, and the persistence of the inflation problem. And I recognize
Vance's conservative stance is well documented through his voting record and public statements. He has consistently supported populist economic policies and has been a vocal critic of foreign aid, notably expressing skepticism about U.S. involvement in Ukraine. His legislative efforts, including proposals to restrict federal funds to certain colleges and to disconnect Chinese government access to U.S. capital markets, underscore his commitment to conservative and nationalist principles. Furthermore, his ability to articulate these views in high-profile settings, such as the National Conservatism Conference, demonstrates his capacity to influence and mold the conservative dialogue, aligning well with the populist wave within the Republican Party.
Not to judge me based on what I said in 2016, because I've been very open about the fact that I did say those critical things, and I regret them, and I regret being wrong about the guy. I think that he was a good president. I think he made a lot of good decisions for people, and I think he took a lot of flack. And as you probably appreciate, Alicia, I've taken a lot of flack myself over the last few years.
JD Vance's ascent from a vocal critic to becoming Donald Trump's vice presidential pick is emblematic of the evolving dynamics within the Republican Party, reflecting the political shifts and the importance of resonating with a broad spectrum of the American electorate. His journey, encapsulated from humble beginnings to a pivotal political figure, underscores a narrative of personal triumph and strategic alignment, highlighting his multifaceted appeal from the Midwest roots to the Silicon Valley experiences. Vance's blend of conservative populism, underscored by a rich tapestry of life experiences from military service to a distinguished academic background, positions him as a figure capable of bridging divides and speaking to the core of American socio-political discourse. The selection of JD Vance as Trump's running mate not only signifies a strategic move aimed at capturing the hearts and minds of the American people, but also sets a precedent for the type of leaders who may shape the future of the Republican Party. So, what are your thoughts about a potential JD Vance vice presidency? Do you think Donald Trump made the right choice? Let us know in the comments below, and as always, don't forget to like and share this video. If you haven't already, visit us at www.globalreferencenews.com for more updates and news stories from around the world.